Well, hi everyone. Welcome. I'm going to make sure that we have our audio correct. So if someone in chat could just let us know if our audio is good.
Test, test.
Yeah, I know we're on a little bit of a lag in the Twitch stream. So feel free if you Yay, I can hear you now. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated. All right. Well, we're back for part two. We're back with Angel, and I'm Rosemary. Um,
Hi.
yeah. Do you want to do your intro as a second time for those who haven't joined us in the previous one?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Angel Rivera. I'm a developer advocate for CircleCI, and I spend a lot of my time, usually spend a lot of my time at conferences and meetups and hackathons and all these tech conferences and events. Basically, speaking to the developer community and learning how you all are using software and getting ideas on how I can help you use your software better and technology better, as well as bringing some ideas back and feedback back to the development teams and product teams at CircleCI so that we can build useful features in our products and make your lives easier.
We like that.
Yeah,
I like my life being easier when I build things.
yep, I
For
think we all do, right?
I know.
A
For
must.
those who have not seen me here or have just joined us on HashiCorp Live before, I'm Rosemary Wang. I'm one of the developer advocates at HashiCorp. I primarily do work with Terraform, but I have worked on and worked with a number of the HashiCorp tools. Today we're going to look at Vault. So if you're interested in Vault in particular, we're sort of taking this from a problem statement of, well, Angel has a pipeline that he'd like to configure to interface with Vault in various ways, shapes, and forms. So last week what we did was we injected a static secret, which was your Docker Hub username and password.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's just, I guess, maybe run through the pipeline real quick
Yeah.
to kind of get
Yeah.
people who weren't involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I have here is a project. It's called a lot of weird things here. I had to reinstall Visual Studio Code like literally 10 minutes before this thing because of these Mac updates. I don't know, something's weird that happens. So yeah, basically I have this simple project here. It's just a simple Node app that kind of displays this it's a static web page. And what it is very, like I have some tests that run, right? So in your pipelines, obviously you want to test your code. So I use this app as a real simple kind of, how for my how-tos. I don't want to focus on the app because, I could get multiple distributed systems and microservices, and a lot of folks, when I'm trying to teach them something about pipelines, they kind of focus in on the apps and how they're written versus like, no, you need to focus on the pipeline and the automation in that space. So what we're doing is yeah, we're leveraging Vault to store and retrieve and protect basically app secrets like API tokens, my username and password to Docker Hub so that I can push new versions of my Docker images up. This pipeline here, this is a configuration file. So if you use CircleCI or any kind of CI tool, modern CI tool, I should say, you're probably using some form of YAML. And at CircleCI, we use YAML for the configuration file. And this particular one is like the config.yaml file, right? So if you're using CircleCI, this will probably look really familiar to you. If you're not, then you need to create a folder within your repo or your project and have a hidden folder called CircleCI. And within that, you would have a config.yaml file, which is what we have here. And I can run through this real quick just to kind of briefly recap. In CircleCI, it's YAML, so these are keys here. And this is the jobs is just a list of jobs, which are a grouping of commands that you want to run in a certain way. So what we've done here is the run test, right? So that's just a label for a grouping of commands in the job. So we have a jobs list, and this run test is a job. And when you want to run, and within jobs, you need to identify where the runtime you're gonna run your builds on. And this one we're using Docker, right? Docker image, and since it's a Node project, we're gonna use this Node 10. And in this phase, right, we're literally just testing the application. So once you have that, you would create steps. And these are the actual commands that you're going to run within that job. So, right, we're going to install our dependencies. Well, the first thing here is this is just basically a Git clone, right from GitHub. So when you push up a commit upstream to your branch upstream, CircleCI detects the change and then runs this pipeline, right, against those changes in that branch. So the next step down here is to install npm dependencies, and then install them. It will. And then the next one would be run the tests. So I use Mocha as a test, and with some reporters called Mocha Awesome, so that I can create test results and then export them into a nice HTML file, which is really cool. So, it pins your test results to the builds in the CircleCI dashboard, which we'll show you a little bit later. And then I'm storing these results, test results here. And this is how you would store the test results or pin them to your build, right? And then finally, this is where we kind of left off last time we got together. And it generated this episode 2, which I'm really excited about. So this is where we're going to be focusing on. And here is basically what I'm doing is in this step is where, we're actually, the job is called vault auth. So, you can name that whatever you like. We just use vault auth as the name for this particular job. And as you can see here, the Docker image is a little different. We're using Rosemary's she baked an all-in-one image that has all the tooling.
But it's 1 gig, so.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, that's how we roll, right? It's just, that's how Docker rolls. Actually, it's not any different, right?
Yeah.
It's my images are just as big.
Oh, geez.
And I have nothing. But at the end of the day, this image here has all the tooling. So it's kind of pre-baked, right? She installed, I believe you installed the Vault agent, right? Console. You probably have Terraform on there. All the cool HashiCorp.
Yeah,
toys,
well,
right?
not every HashiCorp tool. That's the funny thing.
Cool,
It's
cool.
Vault and Terraform primarily, and there are some other little things thrown in there. Docker is also thrown in there.
Yeah,
Kubernetes,
we need Docker
Gcloud command line, and kubectl. So all of those are thrown in there,
Nice.
and then I just build it every couple weeks.
All the cool new toys, right?
Yeah, all the cool new toys you need to run in your pipelines, especially
Yeah.
if you run a ton of infrastructure pipelines.
Right.
Yeah.
So once you have that image, right? So this step will take and basically grab this image, and then again, right, we're going to check out some code, and then we get to the interesting parts. Let me jump on this real quick. So since in this step we're going to build a Docker image, right? CircleCI has this feature where you can tell it to kind of set up a remote Docker image, and then from there, or a remote container like a sidecar, so that you can then build Docker within Docker, if that makes sense, right? So the only requirement with this is that in your image, like up here, it needs the Docker client installed, which Rosemary has. So once we get there, or once we get past all that and the runtime set up, what we're going to do here is basically just set up a couple name environment variables for the name, so that when I push up to Docker Hub, you need kind of a unique name, right? And you want to tag them with like latest and then whatever other unique kind of number or whatever. So this is what I'm using, the CircleCI. It's an environment variable that's kind of floated down into the runtime from the host automation or the host system, which is CircleCI. But this is where it gets interesting. Right here are some environment variables that we'll have to set them up again, right? Or have you set them up, Rosemary?
Yeah, they've been preset. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, the good news is that you can, when you get a role ID. So this is called a Vault app role. For those who are curious about the last week replay, what we covered, I put the link in the chat, so you can go back and look at Vault app role and some of the information there. But the idea is this is a role that's associated specifically with this pipeline, and it means that you have to reissue the secret for a certain cadence. I have already reissued the secret, and I have already put it into the Vault secret ID environment variable and Vault role ID environment variable. So both of those have already been added.
let me just grab just I'm gonna have to do this anyway, so I might as well do it now. Let's just take a look at the project within CircleCI so that folks are, because we are recapping, so it can get confusing, I know. And yes, there's a video of us, the previous steps we took, but just to kind of make it a little bit clearer. And then we'll just jump right back in. I still need to configure my box a little bit, but that's okay. We'll figure this out. So yeah, oh, that's not it. I think I'm in data, and yeah. And this is, so by the way, this is the CircleCI dashboard for those of you that don't know. And I need to find, yeah. So right now we're in the middle of upgrading our UI. So when I click on this failed build, it's going to change the UI to the new, yeah, there you go, to the new version. So we're like in this weird flux state. So yeah, as you can see, there's an old experience button. What you saw was the old experience, which is fine because again, we're in a state of flux. But this was a build, I guess you did, or someone did. Yeah.
This was me pushing something. I didn't really make any changes. I just did a little toggle.
Right.
And it failed because it couldn't authenticate to Vault.
Wow. Yeah. Oh wow! So look, yeah, it just hung for 5 hours. Wow.
In retrospect, we should have paused it or canceled it, but I was like, I'll just let it hang.
Nah, it's all good. I get unlimited. I can get unlimited build minutes. Anyway, so right. So what Rosemary, when we're talking about this, these two environment variables, right? Vault role ID and Vault secret ID, we've set them up in this project settings, I think. Yeah, here we go. Which, if you, so this is basically kind of the admin page for the actual project, right? So your repo. So every project will have, could have different environment variables that really affiliated with it. And this is where you would set all that stuff up, right? So you can go into the advanced section and it tells you like, hey, you can control how, the CircleCI trigger is triggered to things on your, to perform CI on your repos. But this is where we're actually going to be playing in. And as you can see here, Rosemary already set up the new role ID and Vault secret here. So that's where those variables are coming into my pipeline, just to give everyone an idea. Yeah. And she's also set up the Vault address to her instance of Vault running on the internet, right? Yes. Somewhere on the internet. And I'm glad it's protected. And by the way, this is where you would enter. So environment variables are inherently protected in CircleCI. As you can see, they give you a little bit of a hint of what the values are, and that's okay, but it doesn't give you the full value. Yeah. So just
we actually had a question in chat. How do you control timeouts in CircleCI where, what we were seeing before, right? There was an authentication failure and it was retrying for 5 hours. How do you control those timeouts?
So I just want to be clear here, and let's see. There is a timeout key that you can assign, but I just wanted to show everyone. I want to make sure that I give you the right information because I don't use it, and I probably should. Normally, you wouldn't have to, and Rosemary and I encountered that last time, and I'm definitely going to investigate this a little bit better about seeing how, I understand why Vault is doing it, because Vault will just keep trying. But, and I think I asked you, right? Yeah. Is there a timeout we could set in Vault?
And I don't think there is.
Right, but that might be a feature, that could be added, because at the end of the day, like, you're just basically, you're DDoSing a system, right? Yeah. So future.
It is not intended to be used in that manner, I guess. And I think part of the config maybe we need to look at and update, but.
Yeah, I mean, these things happen, right? Yeah. So when you're developing software, that's how it goes, and you won't encounter these things until you actually, or you encounter them when you're doing. Yeah. So yeah, so let me see. I believe there was a timeout somewhere.
Can you bump up the font a bit?
Did you see it?
No, just bump up the font a bit.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem. Here we go. How's that? Better?
Sorry, there's a bit of a lag. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Thanks.
Okay. Let me do a Control F and then a Time out. Is this it? Yeah. Here we go. So there is a no output timeout. Elapsed time, command can run without output. So yeah, I believe this is what you would use. So 10 minutes was, yeah, that smells about right. So there is a default on Circle, but if you're paying for build minutes, you would definitely need to, if you're going to run Vault, and yeah, I would recommend that, and maybe we could stick one in ours too, just to maybe. But again, that's okay. We'll. But I just wanted to let people know that there is a mechanism there. I rarely use it and probably shouldn't, but you could also do a sleep command too, and you could even write bash to do that as well. So if there's a couple ways to skin that cat, but there are facilities within the YAML that you could use, like this guy here.
Yeah. What we're using though is something called Vault Agent, and that is actually the way that Vault Agent was intended to be configured was as a sidecar, so it's continuously running. So part of this is the side effect of Vault Agent itself, which is going to continue retrying. If you do a Vault retrieve, you Vault read from the KV store, which is not using Vault Agent, you could very well say that this isn't retrying, it can't reach the host, and it stops. So, this might be just a side effect of the configuration we're using, which is Vault Agent.
And you can see here, let me plus it up a little bit just in case somebody can't see it. Oh, now I just lost everything. There it is. So yeah, so as you can see here, this is how you would implement this in your this timeout rule inside of a run step, right? So you know what? Let me just grab this and say, how long does an auth take? Like 30 seconds or something?
Yeah, less than that, I would say even.
But 30 seconds is a good failover.
Yeah, 30 seconds is a pretty good failover.
Yeah, so let's just implement that, right? I mean, we can just say here, like...
We would do it before, is it in the run?
Oh, right.
As part of the command?
Oh, yeah, wait a minute. So, no, this is for... So I'll tell you what, let's just give it a 5-minute... That should be enough to build and push.
No, I mean, 30 seconds is, I think, sufficient.
Well, the problem is we're building a Docker container. Oh, I see what you're saying without, right.
Yeah, because it is outputting, right? So it's still outputting. So I just think that this line is next to, like, is under run or something. It might not be as part of the command output.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I got you. All right.
Yeah,
well, we'll leave it at 2 minutes and see. But basically, if you're interested in timeouts for CircleCI, we'll go with this. There is a no output timeout, so that means your build is just basically hanging. But I don't know if this would solve. Yeah, you're right. This won't solve that problem. So
yeah.
Because it is outputting.
Yeah, we just do KV grab. You do Vault KV reads or read KV. So you wouldn't use a Vault Agent per se. The reason why we're using Vault Agent here, for those who are curious, it's because it renders it to a file automatically for you. And it's very useful for larger pieces of metadata, right? So you don't have to write, echo into this file, etc.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next thing I'm going to do is, before we get started, Rosemary, let's get that build running.
Yes.
So I need to go into the site. Is this okay to show the?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
This is a Vault instance on a Kubernetes cluster. It'll be destroyed after this. So if you are inclined to use it, it will probably disappear.
Is it working?
It is working. I just tried it.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Refresh.
Is that the right Vault address?
I'm looking in our Slack. I think you sent it to me a few days ago. Can you send me it again?
Let me see. Yeah, that's not the right one.
Okay. Then yeah, if you could send a new one over, that'd be great. Awesome. She has all the cool toys, everyone.
I don't even know what important stuff I have other than it just appears. So for those Oops, sorry everybody that on this Twitch, I just switched screens by accident. For those who are more or less curious about how I deployed this, I just have a Vault on GKE repository that just deploys this.
I'm going to put the token. All right, it's protected. I just don't. All right, so this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, this is the Vault dashboard or UI for their service, and this is the I guess what would you call this? A secret?
That's the key value engine specifically for Node.js CircleCI. So that's a path that is an engine that's got key value backing to it, and it's good for.
So we set this. She set this up pre-staged, of course, to help with getting it set up, and then pipeline, right?
Yep.
And here I would just create a new secret. Is that right?
Yep.
Is that where we should keep it? All right.
Yeah, we can create path for the secret. What did we call the secret? I don't remember. I think we need to refer to the Vault agent.
Yeah, we could do that. We refer to the agent HCL, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe it's just Docker, or anyway, we'll figure it out. Where is that?
Right there.
Here it is.
Yep.
There it is. So this is some HashiCorp. What is it called? HashiCorp language, right?
Yeah. HCL config. So HashiCorp configuration language. Yep.
Yeah. Which is basically a DSL, domain-specific language that works with the HashiCorp ecosystem. And it's just an easy way for you to kind of, for them to give you the ability to write the same kind of data structures and consume them in all of their products.
Yep.
So if you're writing Terraform, this should look very familiar, right?
Console, Vault, Nomad jobs. Yeah.
Right. So, so we called it just USR, right? And
the key was USR, and then the other key was password, but the path, we have to label it as Docker Hub.
Docker Hub, right, there you go. That's, okay, great. So what I'm gonna do is set up that path, which would be up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then.
Yep, Docker Hub.
Docker Hub. And then here, just my user.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll add another one called PWD, and I'm not going to show you all that.
Was it PWD or password? Did we spell that out?
I think it's PWD. I never typed. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, if I set it up, it's because I never typed the full thing. I hate that. Oh. Anyway, so all right, let me go. I'm going to put these in.
All right, I'm going to change my virtual background because this thing is just flickering too much. Okay. Sorry, everybody. You're going to see the green screen.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, and then let me just type can I remember it? Yeah, I can. So the reason why we're doing this is obviously, right, this is one way to keep passwords and secrets stored securely in a secrets management tool. And it's a one-stop shop as well, right? So you no longer need to like have spreadsheets or Post-its, with your passwords on it and sharing maybe even in Word documents. I've seen that too before.
Yeah, don't do that. Google Docs.
So this is one of the other tools, or one of the other use cases for a tool like Vault, right? You can just keep, and then the cool thing is you can access this stuff via API, which is really neat.
Yeah.
So I've added my user key and password key, and then the values are obviously, I'm not going to show you that, but we're going to save it. And now we have it, yeah?
Yep.
In the system, and now I'm going to go away from it.
And let's rerun our pipeline. So in theory, this should all work again.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump back over to, let me grab this and put it in, put it right here, I'll pin it, because we're probably going to refer to it again.
Indeed, we will.
And then here we go, CircleCI. So let's go back to our project, all right, let's go. Just jump back this way, the quick way.
This is a new UI.
Yeah, it'll. I hope it'll jump into. No, there's the old one. That's okay. But what we could do is in Circle. Yeah, so we have this failed job. So let's try to run it. So normally this would happen. This re-engagement would happen if if you push some code up. But what we're going to do is just rerun a failed build, which should work. So we're going to say rerun the workflow. So the workflow is basically, real quickly, yeah, you can see here, we have a workflow which looks like this when you click into it, and we have 2 jobs. So if we're going back to the config file, yeah, we have 2 jobs. And if you look down here, the workflow is kind of an aggregator of your jobs, right? So you can orchestrate how to run jobs, meaning, we have the run test job, and then we have the vault auth job. Right now, because I don't have a dependency on one another, they're running in parallel, and that's why it looks like this. There's no connection. But if we were to run them sequentially, then this vault would be connected and it would run one thing first, right? So it's almost like it's blocking itself. Right now, since we already know the tests are going to pass, right, and all that good stuff, then we can just run it in parallel. Yeah. So let's jump into the vault. So this is what's happening in that vault auth job, which is not letting us log in. So secret ID is probably invalid.
Secret ID. All right. We're going to reissue the secret ID then.
Yeah, you want to do that on the back end, or?
Yeah, I can reissue it. That way we do not lest we expose everybody to our vault secret.
Yeah. So I'll show them what you're doing by just jumping into
the vault. Yeah.
Not organization. I clicked the wrong thingy. Yeah. So going back to those environment variables, the reason is they expired, right?
Yeah.
So we need to jump back into that project variable setting, and Rosemary will issue. Yes. Can you make them a little longer?
I could. I mean, I would redeploy it.
Okay.
I could make it longer.
No worries. No worries. You already did it?
No, not yet. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. So what she's doing is basically, repopulating these so that we have some valid keys in the runtime, and that the agent can then call back into the Vault system and get the creds for Docker Hub, which are these.
Yeah. So I'm basically getting it for this role.
Right. Oh, right. Sorry. So that would be policies, right?
Yeah.
With this one?
No,
yeah.
JS.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Cool. So once we have that, we can rerun. And let me cancel that one before I run out of credits. No, just kidding.
Yeah, that is a kind of important there.
Yeah, we're okay. I know the owner.
Yeah, about that. All right, we're going to try this one more time. I'm going to actually cute plan. Yes, so let's see.
Yeah, so I'm going to cancel this run.
So finicky.
And by the way, it's all about the access and the tokens, which is what we're trying to illustrate. So once this is all up and running, you should be able to, and you understand how these secret management tools work. You should be able to not have these problems as far as the builds failing.
It's an automation kind of piece of this where you would usually, after you issue this, after you issue a role ID, for example, you would actually want to use a, like what they call a trusted orchestrator. So this could be Terraform, etc., to push directly to the CircleCI environment variables. That's one way you would do it, but in this case, we are not, and that's just
can you like cron that too, right? Or is that what you're saying, like have some sort of
you could also cron it too, so there are a couple ways that you could organize the trusted orchestrator. In this case, we're just opting to use kind of this manual approach, but you would not tend to use this manual approach. We are doing this for the sake of not keeping our stuff up too long. Okay.
Plus, this is cool for folks to kind of see the inner workings, right, or at least the reasons.
Yeah, all the reasons.
More educational.
Yeah, I'm putting the new one in. Hold on.
Okay.
Secret ID.
I changed something, obviously. Oh, right, this new. I'm gonna
all right, it should be updated. if you want, I can kick it off,
Yeah.
or you can kick it off.
I can kick it off. Yeah, no problem. All right, yeah, so let's do this again. I got to go in it, of course. So yeah, we're going to rerun this from the start. And then from here, right, the one we're interested in is this. So you see they should both kick off at the same time. I'm sure the test is already, we jump in there. This one should kick off rather quickly. Yeah. So yeah, so that's the beauty of CircleCI is that, you don't have to worry about any infrastructure. Like normally if you were running like a Jenkins box or something like that, you would have to stand that up and take care of it. We provision all the resources for you on the back end, so all your compute is kind of managed through us. And then all you have to worry about is your code, and then it triggers with every commit, which is simulated by me clicking that rerun button. So let's just jump into the Vault auth. You seeing anything? Yeah.
Yay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's pulling down it's building. Is that building? Yeah, it's building the image now. So let's jump over to, there's the environment variables that we were talking about. See, and they're protected because the system, this agent went and called back over to the Vault system and brought that in, right?
Yeah.
And then populated without having to expose anything. So that's what's really cool about this. Yeah. And yeah, so what happened here was, so it ran, this is where the Vault server logged in, got what it needed, and you're still not exposing it even in the output, thankfully. And here we go. It's building my image, and oh wait, I guess it submitted it. So let's check on Docker Hub. We should have Hub have a fresh new image sitting up there. Oh, if I spelled Docker right.
It's Friday.
Cool. No, I'm the worst typist ever. So
No.
I admit it.
It was someone actually heard the request for pizza last week, so we're just blaming it all on pizza for Friday and Friday pizza and Friday brain, and I was like, whatever it is, a minute ago.
So we have an image here, right? Pushed a minute ago, which is really cool. So let me see if I can refresh, and hopefully it'll show up here too. Docker Hub, sometimes, I don't know, there might be some lag. Yeah, see?
There you go.
So build 47. So if we go back to this thing, let me just crush this. We don't need that anymore. So yeah, build number 47. And that's the number I use, the build number for my config file. So that's great. That's working again.
Yay.
So I guess the next step is going to be building out the piece where I'll let you talk about.
I think Angel's request was, I want to learn about dynamic secrets, right? Because what we just did was push static secrets to a key value store, and we configured our pipeline to retrieve from that. So that's one learning experience that you would get from Vault, but the real value from Vault is the dynamic secrets. And basically what it does is that Vault has a ton of automation that you can extend it with, and it will handle the leasing, revocation, creation of any, generally most secrets associated with certain providers. So one good example of this is like a cloud provider. And what you'll be able to do is revoke or generate new keys on demand with certain time to lives. So you get to choose how long you want those credentials out there. But the idea is that Vault will handle those roads. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about? You talked about time to live. Maybe some folks don't understand what that is.
Yeah, so time to live is how long a secret is allowed to be used. Very, very, very straight, in some ways, very straightforward kind of concept, but it's actually very nuanced, right? So time to live is very tunable. It's very dependent on the type of secret that you have. So if you, let's say, have maybe a secret that's really difficult to change, let's say this might be your your home Wi-Fi password, for example, that kind of stuff, you might have a time to live of 3, 4 months, 5 months, maybe 2 years if you decide to.
Yeah, right. I don't think I've changed mine in 10 years.
Right.
So
there you go.
I'm not keeping best practices at all.
Right. But then sometimes you would have secrets that you only want for the lifetime of a container that has come up, and after the container is done, you shouldn't have those credentials. So what Vault will do is basically help tune those, it will enable you to tune those time to live parameters depending on the situation, circumstance, and type of secret that you have. And so that's where most people enjoy using Vault. If you use Vault on Kubernetes, for example, you can set up Vault integration with Kubernetes in the way that your secrets are limited to the lifetime of the Kubernetes pod. So if the pod dies, that credential is no longer valid, no longer available. So it's very powerful.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. We're not going to do that today. What we're going to do is actually set up GCP, something called GCP Secrets Engine for Vault, and it's going to issue a new service account every time we want to deploy to Kubernetes. So every time we want to deploy this CircleCI Node.js application to Kubernetes, we get a new Google service account every time.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Exactly. Well, yeah, we'll see if we can configure it.
Look, you can do it.
Yeah. It's not tricky, but to a certain degree. But it is sometimes, again, it's the time to live. You even saw this today when we were trying, when we were trying to do the secret ID. I tuned it just a little too short. So that means that we have to get it revoked, etc. So what this will do is actually it will do it in a way that is automated, so I don't have to go and get it reissued like I was just doing with Vault. So we're going to start first, I guess, with configuring Vault to do this, right? So it's not like if you suddenly do a Vault command, you suddenly get the GCP Secrets Engine. There's a little bit of stuff you have to configure first before you get around to getting those secrets dynamically. So
I got a question. Can I give you access to through Zoom to my desktop so you can drive, or remote control?
Oh, we're gonna try this.
Yeah, why not, right?
All right. Yeah, why not?
Can you? Oh wait, I can give it to you. Yeah, try it.
Click. I am clicking. Oh, there
You're
we go.
moving.
Yay! All right, don't try this at home, everybody. All right.
There
we go. I can click on things. All right. So the first bit is that you'll notice that I did a lot of kind of like initial creation and configuration of Vault. And mostly this is because, well, it gets a little bit exhausting configuring Vault by hand. And, you could bash script it. You could go Vault, enable this KV engine, right? But it sometimes gets a little tedious and you forget which engines you enabled, which engines you didn't enable, where you put things, which policies you put it in. So I just do it all through Terraform. So if you're curious and you're digging through this repository, what you'll actually see is a gcp.terraform file under Vault and Terraform. What this will actually do is configure the Vault GCP secret backend. So this is equivalent to Vault enable I think GCP secrets, something like that. It's the same as if you logged into Vault and typed it into the CLI. In this case, what we're doing is we're saying, I'm just going to enable it with this resource. This is using the Vault provider for Terraform.
Right.
So I have, as you notice, a time to live, and the time to live is about 10 minutes. So the service account, the reason why we're doing a service account for this instance is that it enables access to the Kubernetes cluster. You can use tokens, and in that case, it would be really nice because the tokens are unlimited. You can just keep issuing new tokens. However, in GCP, service accounts are limited, or not service accounts, service account keys are limited. So you can only issue 10 for every service account.
Yeah, so you have to kind of look at your use case, right? And then kind of identify, all right, do I want to use tokens and I think everyone's Obviously, everyone's setup's different. Everyone's requirements are different. And policies are different.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
So basically, if I set this to 10 minutes, and with CircleCI, your builders run pretty quickly, pending anything that we've done to configure the pipeline, that it's expanded or it runs it for like 20 minutes or 5 hours in this case. But the idea is that this 10-minute window should be sufficient for this particular pipeline. I mean, we can even make it smaller if you want. I don't know if you want to make it smaller.
I have a question about that. So with HCL and the whole framework, we have the capabilities of right here. So let me variable file, right? So let's say we could kick off, maybe create a variable here that says like what was the name of that GCP?
Yep.
So this value here, right?
Yep.
You can create is it this one? No, this one.
Yeah, both of them.
Both. Okay.
Yep.
So let's say your builds are on average like I don't know, 2 minutes or 3 minutes. You can query CircleCI, but like there could be a step in your config file that can query CircleCI, and you could literally, when you run this through Terraform, is it run through Terraform or no?
Yeah, it is. Well, so it won't be running. So it's not running as part of this pipeline right now. It's running in Terraform Cloud. So it's not running in CircleCI. The Terraform piece configuring Vault is actually running in Terraform.
Right, but what I'm saying is in this pipeline, I could have a line that can call, like, there could be a step that calls back to CircleCI and says, all right, what was the last amount of time for a build for that specific job? And then you could automatically populate that, right? And then you can use a variable, right, from within Terraform.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you
don't even have to worry about it. You could kind of go off of what you did before.
Exactly.
I don't know. Just an idea. Sorry, I'm sidetracking.
No, it's really cool. I mean, I think maybe that's like part 7.
Yeah.
You get it. You kind of. I think it's actually it's very possible to do that because then you get a better sense on average of what kind of time to live that you're looking for.
Right.
So
Sorry,
it makes a ton of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to show people as well that this is a very dynamic and flexible system. This the HCL and the Terraform system. Like if you have there's a variable component to it. So if you have anything that's obviously varied, you can leverage that, right, when you're building out your Terraform. Because when I first started using Terraform, I was like, I'll just use these to define some values. Meanwhile, I didn't realize that in the CLI, when you're calling Terraform, you could actually throw dynamic values here. So yeah. So continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We were talking about.
Sorry. No problem. I was like addressing in the chat. Hilariously, I was worried there was something wrong with the stream because our mod was like, "Is there something wrong with the stream?" It's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. Anyway, so back to this. The idea here is that you can tune this time to live however whatever design you choose. The idea is it has to be appropriate for the use case, and in this case, you could get a lot more interesting information. From CircleCI, which is kind of neat, and you can actually tune it through here. So that's actually pretty cool. We need to try that. Note to self, I'm going to try that later.
Yeah, maybe when we get together again.
Yeah, I know. The next stream.
Some hackery, right?
I know.
But I'd like to, let's get this thing tightened up. We'll keep going at it, right? And then
exactly.
We'll get to that point.
Yeah. So what I do actually is, besides turn on secret backend, right? So secret backend is GCP. What this will do is set a default time to live for that secret backend. You can also have a different, you can name the secret backend Rosemary, and it could be specific to the Rosemary application. The idea is that, if you have multiple secret backends, you can configure that. The multiple secret backends can also be multiple GCP secret backends. The reason why you might do this is that maybe you have different sets of credentials for different accounts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Exactly. So the important thing is that maybe you want to minimize the blast radius. You don't want to have credentials that give it to every single GCP project or every single GCP account that you have. You only want to scope it to a very specific project, very specific place. So that's why you can configure multiple GCP secrets backends so long as they have different credentials and you can configure them with different time to lives. So
Awesome.
that's where this is coming in. And by the way, the GCP credentials, Angel, you don't have access to these credentials, right? Like you can't actually see them. You like they're just somewhere.
No, they're not. And yeah, they're not. I just have the repo. So if you didn't publish them to a public repo in GitHub, then I don't see them.
Yeah, and so that's the idea, right? If you're a Vault operator and you're configuring this for a development team, the development team doesn't really need to know the GCP credentials.
That's right.
That you're using to create these service accounts. All they really need to do is authenticate to Vault. And that's
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Question about the count variable here? So like, what is this appended piece? I know, I have a feeling I know what it is, but I just wanted to clarify for myself.
Yeah, so you'll notice that I have these little count meta arguments. So I use a form of feature toggling that I call feature toggling. It's not really a toggle. I mean, it is a toggle. Okay, it is a toggle. It's a toggle because I do a lot of demos. I also tend to push to production infrastructure. Not production, but production for the sake of the demo, right? And I don't really feel like going in and editing Terraform to say like enable it, disable it, comment it out. It just to me it just seems kind of extraneous to comment this whole file out when really I could just toggle and say let me just create a variable. This is a Terraform variable called enable GCP secrets engine. And as per true feature application feature toggling, right, it defaults to false, right? I don't expect to run it. And then when I'm ready, I just toggle it to true. And then it creates these two resources for me.
So you just taught me something that like, I experienced the same thing. And now, you convinced me I'm going to use this. So again, this is part of ACL though, right? So like, giving that the capabilities to be super flexible, and this is awesome. So thanks for that.
No, I'm glad. I like using it. Some people are like, why would you ever do this? Why don't you just make the edits and then git revert? And I'm like, well, I don't really have time for that most of the time.
And honestly, the way Git works is you don't want to be polluting branches with like useless information. I know you can do like, you can prune that as well. But this is so much better, and I agree. I like it. So there you go. We just learned how to toggle set and feature flag sets in Terraform.
Yeah, there you go. You can use it. Be careful with it. I just say be careful with it, but I use it here because I didn't want to create the GCP secrets backend. I wanted to walk through this config first before we actually created it. But the second part of the GCP secret backend is not just saying I need to reference GCP. The second part of this is actually called a role set. So what this does is that you'll notice that when you create GCP service accounts, you attach a role to it, right? You don't want the service account with admin for everything, project admin for everything. What the GCP secret role set describes is what kind of role should this particular service account have. In this case, I am actually binding it to the project, but I'm also saying that it should only have a container developer role. So it's only got the responsibility to deploy to the Kubernetes cluster and not do any cluster administration to it.
So can I ask you another question? So this binding piece, right? You're binding, this description of the role, right, to something that lives in Google's cloud, right? And then that's where you're getting, let me just close this up for a sec. That's where you're getting the call to you're calling out to Google, and that's what this data bit is here, right?
Yep.
So Terraform, it's Terraform, right?
Yes, it
has
Terraform.
a provider that knows how to talk to the Google API, and then you're literally making an API call here and saying, give me this project ID, right? Based on the credentials that the system has from Terraform. Is that right?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, and what's really cool about this is that you mentioned that this is called a provider in Terraform, right? So there's a provider that calls out to different APIs. We have a Vault provider, calls out to the Vault API. There's a Google provider, calls out to the Google API. In itself, right, the secret backend that you see here, acts a lot like a provider.
Right.
So you can think of it as in the Vault space, a secret backend is a bit like the Terraform provider world.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just wanted to make that clear for folks as well as myself.
I know. Yeah, see, this
is
is why you have someone ask questions while you're on streams, because, what other questions?
Yeah. And then this bit here, right, is also on Google Cloud, or is that a role that we're pulling from Vault?
That is a role on Google Cloud. So it is indeed a static role that's predefined in Google Cloud. You can use a role that you've already defined with the with the Google provider for Terraform somewhere, if it's a custom role. In this case, we're just using the GCP out-of-the-box roles container.developer.
Yeah, and that's what they're there for quick, right? You already kind of know they're pre-baked, and that's cool.
Exactly.
All right, I just wanted to be clear on that as well.
Yeah.
So all of these are, so that makes sense though. So this binding bit is literally just saying, hey, attach yourself to or use this information, and then you're using this data bit here to call out and get that project ID.
Exactly.
That's all. That's cool.
Yeah. So try to automate as much as possible. That's the rule of them. But basically, once you set this up, anytime someone reads from this secret backend, right? Anytime someone says GCP read, give me a service account, it issues and creates an entirely new service account. And after this 10-minute interval, the idea is that it voids the credentials. So it says this is no longer valid. You can't just log into this. It revokes it. It cleans it up. So that's what the kind of the interaction is.
Right. And that's where you're calling this backend piece here, right? And then it's basically correlating to this or
precisely.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
Exactly. So
and then index, is this like an index thing, right? So,
it is an index. Unfortunately, the downside of the feature toggle, if you use it this way, the downside of count is that there's an expectation that it is indexed. So if I took out the count, I wouldn't need this index. But because I add the count in, it does require the index. That is the downside to feature toggles.
So, yeah, okay. So, okay, right. And then, because the return, I got you. It doesn't know how to map it. Exactly.
Right. And I mean, it's an object structure, so you could just say, give me everything. So I could put a star and wildcard it, but I only know there's ever going to really be one of these, so I just put zero. Yeah. All right.
That's why I was asking, because I was like, wait, that doesn't, but there's got to be a reason, and thank you.
No worries. Are you logged into Terraform Cloud on this computer?
No, but I can be.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to toggle this on. So it creates it all for us, because I don't really feel like going into the Vault CLI and then typing today.
So let me log in real quick, and then you can just use my account. So it's app.terraform.io. And this is another cool thing that the company has put out. So before you would have to manage your state either through some is it app.terraform.io, right?
Yep.
I got .com here. So before, if you're a user of Terraform, like I used to be, when I actually had infrastructure I was responsible for, so before that I would have to write providers and then backends to store the state. The HashiCorp company has literally given free access to their Terraform Cloud now, which is awesome. And I started using it when I think I got an email from someone a while back, and I started beta testing it. It was really cool, and I think this is the way to go, right? Save your state here, and then you can also invite other people. Like Rosemary had invited me to this just today or yesterday, so that I could show this. And when they were beta testing, I got this really cool Yeti mug.
That's so cute.
And I use it every day. I got it right before COVID started. So that's
great.
But so I don't know if they're still giving them out, but
I don't know. Maybe there's still Yetis. I can ask them. So basically, the reason why this is easy is just so it's easy state management. At some point, I just get really tired of setting up GCS storage buckets for this stuff. So
I mean,
if you click on that workspace, you'll see here it's just a Vault configuration. So if you just click,
you got access. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I can click on this.
Yeah, you
I
drive.
forgot. All right. So basically, there's things that you can queue manually. There are things that you would queue automatically. As you can see here, this was already pre-queued, so I'm just going to discard it. There's no reason to. But it works similar to Terraform open source plan and run, plan and apply. I'm not going to go too deeply into it because that's not necessarily the point of this live stream.
Yeah,
However,
we could probably do a different one, right?
yeah, exactly. We should probably do a different one on it. But as you can see here, the reason why Angel can't actually access any of the credentials is that they're all write-only. So even if he tried to like go in and edit them, he couldn't edit them.
Oh,
so
man.
yeah, they're all write-only. So all of these things, you know, I store, I make sure they're not there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to enable the toggle. I think we called it enable. What did I call it? I don't even remember what I called it.
I can jump back over for you.
Yes, thank you. Enable GCP secrets engine. Let me copy that. Jump back over. I don't think I actually have keyboard access to do that. Yeah. So I'm going to enable the toggle. This is the reason why I do it because, again, don't really feel like typing. And so I'll just enable it just so it creates it.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're basically pre-baking the command run, right, in this. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So what this does is that it just executes it for me, so I don't have to sit here and hook up state and do all sorts of weird things. It's just a little bit easier for me.
Well, I just learned something new.
The other neat part about Terraform Cloud is that it has Sentinel. So if you have a bunch of vault policies that you're not sure if they're good, bad, you know, if maybe they're not compliant, you can go ahead and actually tell them like, hey, yeah, you know, let me actually scan it, and that's what Sentinel would do in this. It would do policy as well for you.
Yeah, so Sentinel, is that like a compliance tool, like similar to like Chef's Inspec or something like that?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool.
It's neat. It actually kind of looks at your Terraform configuration. It looks at vault configuration. Basically, it's a way for you to declare whether or not something is compliant or not compliant. So you have a very binary test.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So here is just applying it, but as you can see in part of the plan, you can tell that it's actually going to create this GCP role set now. So it will create...
Oh, sorry, I keep touching the mouse. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. Nothing messed up. It's fine. Yeah, it went GCP role set, so now it's just going to create the GCP role set. It's going to create, you know, the secret backend that you can see here. So this is this credential, etc. Notice it's suppressing all the sensitive values so you don't see it.
Nice.
And now the apply has finished. Yay.
Does that give you any lapse time or something?
Yes. Well, I think it does. It just doesn't. It just says it finished a few seconds ago, but.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anyway.
Nice.
Beyond that, let's go back to Vault, the Vault UI.
Oh, that's just a tab. Oh wait, let me bring that back over. I think.
Yay.
There, I pinned it for you. So.
Oh, thank you. Yes, there it is, right next to it.
I'll pin them. Yeah, you can just.
Yeah. Okay. So the important bit of this is that after we've run the Terraform, you can now see that there's actually a new backend, right? It's this GCP secrets engine. You'll also notice that I can't really do much with it. You know, there's nothing. It's been configured, right? You can see 600, 1800.
But that was configured using your HCL in the right? When we created it in the
yes.
In the agent, is it not the agent?
When we created it, it's created as part of the HCL. Yes, as part of this Terraform configuration. If you go to gcp.tf as part of this repository.
Right there, you go.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yep. So you'll notice there's not much information in there. It doesn't expose credentials or anything, right? So you won't be able to see anything. You'll also notice that kind of the key here is that I've actually already enabled this policy, but anything under the GCP/key/Node.js CircleCI, I should be able to read, I should be able to retrieve that information and some of the service accounts, for example. So,
right.
Let me, secrets. So,
is that what you wanted?
Yeah, actually I was going to go into the CLI and actually see if I could retrieve it.
From this one, or you wanted to use?
That's good. Yep.
Okay.
That's good. I just have to get
So
it
yeah,
right.
this is a really cool thing I discovered the first time or you showed me the first time. You can run CLI commands through the UI against the host vault system, right?
Yep.
So instead of you having to jump into a terminal, you can just do this.
Exactly. It's kind of nice, if you have access to the UI, this is a good way to kind of learn it. So as you can see, it's thinking. As you can see, there's a ton of private key data.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
It's only some of it, so you're good.
Yeah, exactly. But, what you'll see basically is that it's a service account. It'll continue to, read that. So you'll be able to see that kind of. Basically, every time you ask for it, it will give it to you. It will give you a new one, basically.
Yeah, but plus that'll die anyway, right? So
yes, it will die in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah, exactly. Like, have at it. You get 10 minutes of compute on Rosemary.
Yeah, I know. All right. So now that you've confirmed that there is actually indeed a key in there, what you won't be able to see is because Angel does not have access to my GCP project. But what you'll actually see is that there's actually a service account that's created. It's like got a key to it, etc. And then if I do another read, it will actually create it. All right. So yes, start hacking. Someone in the chat was like, start hacking. All right. So let's go back
Come on, we gotta lay the foundation now.
I will destroy this vault instance. Basically, I have no commitment to this vault instance. All right. So let's go to. Let's go to the VS Code and let's actually configure our pipeline, right, to read the service account so we can deploy to Kubernetes.
Yeah, let's jump in there. So we have, I guess, is this the job that you made, kubeconfig? Is this old or?
That was an initial kind of like, let's get started sort of thing. Okay. Yeah.
Why don't should we just change the name of it to do something?
We could say deploy to Kubernetes. We'll just do the whole workflow. Why not?
Deploy to. We'll just do the shortened version of Kate. I got not yelled at, but told by the CNCF, whatever cloud. What is it? Cloud native.
CNCF, Cloud Native Computing Foundation.
There you go. So I did a quick webinar with them, and they were like, I had a slide. I always use lowercase because that's just my style, and they were like, no, it has to be a capital K. Branding. That's fine. It's legit, but I'm gonna in my code it's gonna be lowercase.
It's gonna be lowercase.
I'm a rebel that way.
Yeah, in a pipeline, when everything else is lowercase, then you standardize on lowercase. We're not gonna just create. We're gonna continue with the snake case.
Yeah. I just had to share that little anecdote. Obviously, it stuck with me.
Exactly. Oh, so many days. All right. So what we're going to need to do is basically get the service account key out of Vault and into here. So we can either follow the same pattern that we had before with Vault Agent, or we persist to workspaces, or I don't know how we want to approach this.
So persisting the workspace, I think we talked about that, but that would expose, you could then gain access to the key, right?
Yeah.
What would you recommend then? So just sticking it, well, you can't stick it in an environment variable. It has to be a file, right?
Yeah, it does have to be a file. So it
then,
has to know.
We'll just pull it out and then make a file and put it in the, what is that? The protected. I think if you stick it in, what is it? Config. What kind of image is this? Is it a Ubuntu or Debian? Or?
This is a Alpine image.
Oh, Alpine.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's Alpine.
That's an Alpine image and it's 1 gig?
Well, that's because there's Vault and Terraform, which it's not even the light version of Vault and Terraform.
Oh, I see. I got you.
It's the full version of Vault and Terraform.
Because Alpine's is like a slim line. All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just pump it out wherever, right? And then, because it's 10 minutes and gone, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, really what we could probably do is just reissue Vault Agent again. We just have to write it out to the file or something, right? So we have to tell it to do something.
You pick. I'm new, so.
I mean, we already have the vault agent stuff. We don't have to persist it. We could just
Yeah.
re-authenticate again, I guess. That
Okay.
also works too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Basically, we will take whatever is above line 38.
yeah, you still have access, so you can
Oh
drive if you
yeah, that's
like.
right.
I'll let you
Yeah. If
I'll let you
anybody
do all
has
the.
any other ideas in the chat, by the way, you're more than welcome to actually put the ideas. But just for the sake of, you know what, we'll just persist it because you know what, we'll give it a try.
All right. Yeah, we
Different
could do that.
pattern.
Sure.
So we're using this persist to workspace command, which basically, oh, I can't type.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, I think this kind of worked.
All
Anyway.
right. I can uncomment for
Yeah,
you.
can you
Let me
uncomment
do
that? Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, so basically what this will do is take
got
the
it.
file that we've created for said, based on Vault Agent.
Nope. It has to
Oops,
be that way.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Multi-control. So basically it takes this and it mounts that file and persists it across the workspace. And I believe it's for the lifetime of the workspace, correct?
Yes. Yeah. These are temporary. Right. So they are right as the pipeline. So the entire pipeline. So this is a way for your different jobs to persist data and have access to data that was maybe created in a previous step or some other outside. Not outside, but some other. I would say maybe they're running in parallel or something. So if you want to share data, workspaces are one way to do that temporarily, inside of a build.
Nice. All right. So basically, what we want to do is we mentioned before in this previous step here that we were using Vault Agent. Vault Agent, what it was doing was writing these secrets to a file. In this case, one of those files was Vault Docker Hub, and this stored the Docker Hub credentials specifically. Right. But there are other files that Vault Agent could also be writing out. So one of these, for example, is, let's say, Node.js CircleCI. Some of these might be Kubernetes. So there's a lot of information that you could also write in addition to everything else, right?
Is there one that we need to uncomment in that file real quick?
Yeah, I think everything needs to be uncommented.
I can do that for you so that you don't need to struggle. Yeah, because we uncommented this last week to get it going, but we'll uncomment and save. Yep. You're good to go.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is the reason why using Vault Agent is kind of nice is that if you have a large number of secrets you're trying to retrieve from, from your vault, whatever your vault path is, it will template it out in the way that you're expecting to consume it. So in this case, I'm just writing the values out, very simply, and to each different file type, right? So root Terraform, for example, for connecting to Terraform Cloud, for one example. Nice. You might have Kubernetes cluster zone, temp Kubernetes cluster zone. There's a whole variety of things basically that you would write out to these different files. And, one of them here is the service account key.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So basically, we really only need anything probably under temp GCP project for now, correct? And any of these Kubernetes ones.
Yeah, we're just gonna tell it to deploy something.
Yeah, so let's just do all temp. Can I tell it all temp?
Yes, yeah.
Or last time, what did we do? Where did Docker Hub go? So temp vault token. Maybe we'll just change all this to vault, right?
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, because it saves it inside of that root, the folder within the project, right? So that's where it was living. Yeah. You can put it wherever you like.
Let's basically vault.
Yeah.
We'll just say mount everything in vault, which seems, I don't know, I feel like it needs to have a subdirectory somewhere. Can I do that? I don't know. That seems like if I persist the entire vault thing, then if I check it out again, it'll just overwrite it, or it doesn't matter.
You can change it. Just change it to wherever you like. Temp is fine.
Temp is
Yeah.
for consistency. We'll just do Vault.
Yeah. Well, as long as you don't add it, right, it won't matter. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
okay.
Git. It's not the word. It's not watching for it, right? So,
Oh, okay, got it. Cool.
yeah, you have to commit it, right?
In order
Add it
for
and
it to
then
care.
commit
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So these are just like whatever. Git ignores
Yeah.
them until
Why
they're
not
added.
just mount external source with credential? That is also true. You could mount an external source with the credential as well.
So yeah, you could use a cache for that. But then, right, then those credentials are sitting in cache. And yeah, you know, if you're using Terraform and you have a 10-minute time to live, who cares? But there's still 10 minutes of action.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular? I mean, if you were using secrets, right, in CircleCI, right, would you go mount in like some kind of external source into one of the builders? Is that a capability?
Yeah, you can do pretty much anything as far as that goes. Like, but I would anything with secrets, definitely I would keep them locked up inside of an environment variable. So one of the ways that before Vault, or if I'm not using Vault, I would just take the GCP, JSON, whatever security key, and base 64 encode it into a value, and then create an environment variable in the CircleCI dashboard and then that base 64 encoded value would be living in there. And then when you have a step where you need to, configure the G-Cloud run CLI to do something, then you would just call that environment variable and decode it, right? So then pump that out into a file. So it's similar to what you're doing, and it's protected, inside of CircleCI. The only difference is it's the static key, and right, you can't really change that.
Got it.
Whereas you can use Vault here to get a temporary token.
Cool.
So yeah, there's multiple ways to skin this cat, but that's why I was interested in learning a little bit more about Vault and trying to, make this a very temporary value, or token key, whatever.
So I basically decided let's just mount temp just for the sake of not touching too much. But what happened? So how do I get the information from the persist workspace to the next job?
Oh, good question. So isn't that attach to workspace?
Okay.
And then, yeah, I was going to say we could also look up just to be sure.
Yeah, so for those who are curious, I'm going to just drop this in the chat. But there's attach workspace right there. All right, so I need to attach this somewhere. In this case, I'm just going to attach it to temp because everything else is attached to temp.
Right.
The other question that I have is that can I persist everything? If I say it's a persist workspace, does that mean it persists everything in that directory?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Right.
All right. Let me just make sure that this is the right command.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes. I believe everything in there is persisted. So.
Okay. So let me just do a star. Yeah, that might be better. Root temp, and then star. Everything in there. Does that work? That doesn't seem to like it.
No worries.
I don't know. Let's see.
I'm looking up something else for you.
Okay.
Let's see.
Nice. Cool. Well, hopefully that works. Is there a way to verify this locally? Like if I have a good config or not so good config, like is there a way for me to ascertain if this is good or bad?
Oh yeah, you can do. Here, let's see. If you pull up the terminal, which I think, let me get it up for you.
Okay.
You can type. I think I have. Yeah, look at that. Anyway, you can clear that out, and you can use if I can tell you. Okay, you can use. We have a CLI, CircleCI, and then I think it's validate. Let me make sure. Yeah. So we have a CircleCI CLI tool, and you can do where is it? It's like a
Config
diagnostic. No, do you see it?
I think
Oh
it's
yeah,
config,
there it is.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so right, so I don't obviously do this at all. For, sorry. Oh, yay! Friday. All right. So yeah, so you can do validate. There you go. So if you wanted to do validate. Yeah, it is valid.
Yay! Okay.
So what that does is lints your YAML and yeah, checks against those keys and make sure that you're kind of legit. So
nice.
So you actually remembered the attach workspace, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I looked it up and then pasted it.
You could have said, of course.
No, let's be honest. The whole point of this is to show that all of us are copy and pasting from somewhere else.
Oh, yeah. I've been doing this a long time. And yeah, it didn't used to be that way, by the way.
Really?
The internet changed things, yeah. I used to have to actually think it out or actually, bug like a mentor or something like, oh, and then, yeah, they would get annoyed and yeah, you know how that goes. Now the internet, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's still pretty good. I mean, I don't think it's bad. All right, I'm just going to do a kubectl version just to check if this pipeline runs correctly. Because in theory, if all of these are retrieved, right, so what we're doing is we wrote it out to file, we mounted the files, we're attaching it at the workspace. Now we're reading from the files. So as you can see, this is using gcloud CLI. The CLI is looking for the temp file. It's looking for the GCP project file, Kubernetes file, etc. And if all of this works, we should get a kubectl version at the end of it that actually shows us the server version. I guess we could do cluster info, but I feel like cluster info might be dumping things that I don't really want on the screen.
Yeah, don't dump anything.
Yeah, let's not do that.
We got some smart people watching, I'm sure.
I know, like we can get hacking.
Yeah, they'll mess with us. The little.
We're not gonna try to tempt this.
I love the community, but they are a set of pranksters for sure.
Yes.
So.
All right, so we're gonna see if this works. Shall we just? Oh, we don't need to authenticate to Vault. I don't know why we kept this. We can just do this. All right.
Yeah. So you persisted up top, right?
Yeah, I persisted up here. Oops.
Yeah. Here, is that going to work though? That star with persist? Let me take a look real quick. I'm not sure if that's going to fly. Let me see here.
I mean, we could be really specific. I could be really specific about which ones I persist. So I know which ones that I need. So we could just
actually, yeah, no. So you could do. No, that's fine. I think let's try it. Yeah, you can do that. I think you can do. Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
So you can do. Yeah. You're fine. You're good. Let's try that. Yes, temp / star. You could do. I think. Right?
Okay.
Or is that no wait? Because you're mounting temp.
Yep.
Let's try the star. What the hell?
Okay. All right. Can you push? Because I do not know. I can't see the.
Yeah, I can do that. Sure. Okay. Let me jump over to this, and then here we go.
Oh no, I didn't push it yet.
Oh, you want me to push? All right.
Oh no, wait. It won't even run, right? Because we didn't even put it in the workflow.
Good.
Can we put it after the Vault auth?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh wait, so you want to do? We can do like a requires in the workflow.
Yeah,
I think that'll be a pretty cool. Yeah, let me do that so that we have a sequential thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you have to build the image first, and then so what that looks like is basically. Here, let me grab. Oh, we can just do this. We'll leave those in parallel since we know the tests are going to pass. But we can do. Right. Okay, so it's what's this called again?
Deploy to K8s or something.
Yeah, there you go. All right, there you go. And then And then we have to say here, so we're going to do, right, deploy, and then requires. Is it a dash? I forget. No, it's a straight up. All right, here you go. Requires. There you go. And then from here, we're going to say vault off.
Yeah.
Vault. There you go. And I believe that's all we need. I'll save it. And then we can push it up.
Yay.
Yes. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. All right, great. So we made some changes. Let's jump over here. We'll just use the, I normally do the CLI wise, but so we made changes here, right? We need to push those?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we uncommented, right? Okay. So we have uncommented that. The changes in Circle are basically these things.
Actually, I can see something already wrong with it.
Okay. So
go back to the agent HCL. I think we moved everything under pipeline, right? So we would isolate pipeline versus Kubernetes versus like application side secrets, right? So you wouldn't, so like that's important for 38, for example. Okay. Line 38, yeah, there we go. So is that right? I don't think that's right.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you go to Vault, actually? Yeah. Let's take a look.
Your pin's over there. And
oh, there we go. Yes, my pin. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's actually take a look at the secrets and which path, etc. Just make sure we have it in the right path, right? Because this was Node.js, pipeline, and then Kubernetes. So there was no Kubernetes, as far as I can tell, there was no Kubernetes path. So I think it is not quite right.
Uh-huh.
All right, so let's go back to VS Code. Yep. All right, so this does not seem quite right. So
pipeline. Right. Yeah.
Pipeline / Kubernetes. Let's actually see. Is it in here? Cluster project zone. Okay, so let's go back. So we have project, zone, we have cluster, so that's good. Okay, I think that's mostly fixed then. All right.
Yeah, it looks. Nope.
Yeah, I think that's the right path. All right, let's commit.
This Vault Docker Hub can stay, right? Or
yeah, Vault Docker Hub can stay. We still need it.
Yep. All right. So we're gonna jump. We're gonna commit. Is that right?
Yes. Commit.
All right. Cool. Yes. And so I'm just gonna use the GUI version, and then we're gonna say cross fingers, just for giggles. All right. So we're gonna commit, and then do the push. And once that's up in the branch, we can jump over to up, and just go back to Vault. Hey, it started running.
All right, let's see what it's gonna do. It's gonna re-push stuff, right?
Yeah, so basically hopefully these two are cool, but you can see here I added requires, right? So that's how you add a dependency. So like, you know what I mean? If you don't want to run things in parallel, then, right, you would do, normally this run test would also be over here and it would be in sequence, right? And this is a way, so parallelism is a way, just like concurrency, right, to speed things up. So if you have, like, this is really good for, if you're building multiple versions, like in Node, and you want to test your application in different versions of Node, you know, you could run what we call a matrix job. But what that does is runs all of that stuff in parallel at the same time to speed things up. Because at the end of the day, CI/CD is supposed to be fast, right? You want to get the feedback loop and know what's going on with your app as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So let's jump in here and see. I don't think it's, oh yeah, it's doing it. Is it? Yeah,
yep.
We're good.
Look at all those secrets.
Yeah, that you're not seeing, right?
Yeah, it's just rendering all of them out there. You're not seeing them, but they're in the files.
Yeah, exactly. So right, so yeah, so this is throwing up the image into Docker Hub, and hopefully we'll soon jump back over to build test, which is the workflow. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this should either it's kicked off. Sometimes the UI takes a minute to sync up.
Let's see.
Or not. It's
thinking. It's thinking. I
Yeah.
think it was the
Well,
persist to workspace.
there you go. We got it. So now this is the gold here. The one thing though, I don't have access to your what do you call it? The GCP cloud.
Yeah.
I don't know. You wanted to show that?
Oh yeah, sure. We can show it. I'll just share my. I'll attempt to share my screen if this works.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, at least you'll be able to see what's going on in my GCP environment.
Since I don't have your creds, and I don't want
no, and we did not grant you creds. Okay. All right, an account is required when using P12 keys. Why does it think it's a P12 key?
All right, let's jump back to the.
Maybe
do you need Vault? Do you need the Vault UI or?
No, the Vault UI should be okay. I'm just wondering why it thinks that the gcloud auth service account isn't quite right.
Okay, so I'll let you drive. You tell me what you need.
Okay. Well, let's go actually search for gcloud auth activate service account and see what the heck it's looking.
In here?
Yeah, I think we're missing a email address. I think that is probably part of the problem.
Well.
Yeah, because the gcloud auth activate service account requires an email address in the middle of that.
Oh, because you're right. I got you.
Yeah.
So do you need to go back to the code?
I think we probably need to go back to. Actually, let's look at some. I do have actually access to this, so let me just do this. Let's actually do this probably like the more better way, so to speak.
Yeah.
So the Vault provider for Terraform, let's actually see if the GCP role set outputs I see. An email, and that way we can store that as well. All right, so let's see. We just need to get the email. GCP. Secret backend, secret role set. So let's actually take a look and let's see if we can extract the email account associated with it. So service account email.
Nice.
Yeah. So what we're going
it's
to
also exposed. Nice.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes. If you could go back to VS Code.
Yep.
Yes. Control F for search. I think we are going to have to Control F for search going forward.
What do you need?
Oh no, it's fine. It's a very dense page at times. All right. So what we might do is actually put this into somewhere, into KV somewhere. Yes. So what we're going to do is just pop this into KV somewhere. You can possibly retrieve it from Vault, but if it's necessary for this pipeline and we've already committed to this pattern, we might as well,
Gotcha.
Continue along this route.
So do you need to copy and paste something? Or?
Yeah, well, actually, so far it's okay. So we'll just say it's Kubernetes. We'll just say this is email. Oh, pipeline Kubernetes, sorry. So that is pipeline Kubernetes, right? And the data JSON, we'll call it email. Actually, why don't I put this up here? Because
yeah, exactly.
I don't need this. Actually, I could just do this. I can, so it's a data JSON.
Oh,
yeah, so all of these are going to be keys and values, and that you don't have to worry about it. And hello, is that Jose on there? I think that's Jose in the chat. I can't actually tell.
It says Pepito, which, yeah, it could be.
Are you on the chat too? You are on the chat. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's actually do this role set here, right? So GCP role set dot role set. This is using a templating, so the JSON, it's Heradoc templating. So you actually do have to interpolate within here. So the role set dot, what was the parameter? Service account email? Was that what it was?
Yeah, we could take a look.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
Yeah, service account underscore, all that good stuff.
Yes. Oh, I just did not copy that correctly. Eek. Okay. All right, go back to VS Code, please.
We got it.
We had to, we have to get this live share thing working correctly. Anyway, so we've got the email now. In theory, this should run. So let's actually commit again. Oh, I can get to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Git status. Vault, Terraform.
I could do it from, you could do it as well. Yeah.
Git add vault. This will run our pipeline again, though, right? So that's kind of not so great. Add
wait. Yeah. Okay.
To vault.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I got minutes.
You got minutes. Well, we can add that as one commit, and then the second commit we can. Oh no, then it's like this whole chicken or egg issue, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just push.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. You got it.
Actually, if I add CI ignore, does that mean like that gets ignored in CircleCI, but then pushed in?
No, if you do like git ignore
CI
on
skip.
that file.
Sorry, CI skip.
Oh yeah,
I wonder if Terraform Cloud will run this still. It probably does, because I don't believe this CI skip is a trigger, in which case we might be able to hack it. So CI skip basically stops a CI from running the pipeline.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we're going to see if Terraform Cloud will still run it. They may or may not run it.
I'll jump over to our...
All right. So in theory, CircleCI picks this up and doesn't, in theory, should not be running this.
Oh, there you go.
Well, it's because it's crossed fingers. That was the original. Maybe
yeah,
refresh.
did it pick up? There we go.
Yeah.
It didn't run.
Right. So meanwhile, this should be running in Terraform Cloud. We'll see if that's the case.
Yeah.
Oh, look. It didn't like something.
Instance key.
Oh, it has count. Okay. Yeah, let's go back to VS Code. This is what happens when you have toggles, everybody.
So maybe I won't use them. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. Let's just see. This thing, right? Oh, using KB. This one, right?
Yeah, okay.
So role set 0. Dot. And I think this GCP, similarly, right? GCP, 0. So just so we have that, git add, git commit, CI skip. Because we apparently this now works now that I know this.
Yeah. Well, this is a nice, kind of flag. So like what you're doing, if you're doing especially integrations, right, and you don't want to consume your CI build, but you need to pretend like it ran in the system.
Yeah, exactly.
System, right? All right, so we're gonna go back. Go ahead. You can jump over to.
Oh, let's see if this picks it up.
Yeah.
All right. So there we go. It is planning.
And by the way, what Rosemary is doing here is, which I learned the hard way, was you're actually running these builds inside of the Terraform cloud, right? So,
yes.
You're not running them locally.
No.
When I first started using this, outside of like normal usage, I was trying to run things locally, but it was running in the cloud, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And later on, we found out that,
I know. Well, it was like it couldn't find a binary or something, right? You were like, you had to find AWS.
It was a little tick box in that UI that says run local, and then when that happened, boom, things started happening, right?
Okay, so that's available now, which is good. All right, can you go back to VS Code? Really, someone needs to like fix this whole thing where I can actually scroll.
I think if I gave you access to VS Code, you'd be able to do all this, right? It doesn't matter, but it's all good.
Okay, so what we were doing was now I need the other. Let's just create another file for this. Why am I inputting them in individual files? I mean, we could render them as environment variables. I mean, there are a couple different ways you can do this. It's just all whatever you decide.
Jose was, or Pepito was saying, coincidence? I was just watching a video. Oh yeah, so yeah, that's a talk I gave at a few places actually. So that's cool, Jose. So nice to meet you, by the way.
Yeah, there are like a number of, I think there are a number of talks out there about, you know, secure developer workflows and such.
Yeah.
But
He's talking about so I gave a talk about like shiny object syndrome and how to avoid it. But it's more of a
shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, it's more of a culture talk though.
Okay.
But yeah.
What was the shiny object in question?
Oh, for me, yeah. So I tell a story about how I implemented MongoDB, and like this was a while back, like a long, couple years, 10 years ago or more. And yeah, it didn't end well. I won't ruin the story. Spoiler alert. But.
So wait, you have to post a link to it though. You should post a link to the.
Oh, okay. Yeah, since we're talking about it, I can do that.
Right, I'm on your computer. Hold on, let me push this first.
You know what? I got my laptop here.
You know, I'll post the link, and then you push, and make sure that looks okay, and then let me post the link.
Yeah, just look for it should be on YouTube. I think what was it? The last one I gave was, I mean, there's one called PHP UK 2020. Just look for that, Rivera. It's up there.
7 hours ago. Was that lead dev? At lead dev.
I did one for lead dev recently too, yeah.
Oh, see, someone posted it as well. Thank you.
Oh, nice. So, all right, I need to push this. All right, let's go. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way.
Okay, push it. I was going all CLI because I don't actually know how to properly.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
On the UI or on the IDE, I can't with this thing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to show everyone how to use it. I'm like you, but I don't like to use the terminal inside this thing. It's lame. I jump between the what is it? Whatever that's called, the iTerm2 or whatever.
Oh, nice.
In Apple.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it looks like we got an attempt 2 running.
Woohoo.
Hopefully this will.
Let's see.
This will work. Yeah. So, yeah, we should hopefully have something here soon.
Yeah. Lead. All right. Shiny objects. I need to watch this now. What is?
Yeah,
just so I get the stories.
Yeah, I've been giving that talk actually. I got a lot of mileage out of it, but I enjoy giving it because it tells a story, you know, of basically failure, and those are fun.
Nice.
Wow, we're already almost 20 minutes out.
I know. Well, we might be cutting it down to the wire again.
Yeah.
Actually, last time we cut it right down to the wire.
Is there a part 3 in this or what?
I don't know. So next week there may be a special edition. I don't know.
What?
It may be a special edition. We're trying to figure it out. So.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm always game to hang out with you.
I know. Well, you know, mid-May. It's like, well, we'll figure it probably.
Yeah. No. Whenever. Yeah.
But.
Oh my goodness, let's jump in here. Come on.
What is it? I think it can't authenticate.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dang it. All right.
Did it?
Yeah, you're getting
all right.
Some bad. I mean, is that you need to look at the log or?
Yeah. No. I think it just means that we timed out. I should have just expanded.
Yeah.
Why didn't I do that? I don't know why I didn't do that. I should have.
We can do it now, right? Like.
I could, but just hold on a second. Part 7. This keeps basically we timed out again, right? So I should have set the secret to like ad infinitum, but it didn't quite work that way.
Hey, so Egon likes what we're doing. Thanks,
Yay.
Egon. We're trying to make it useful and realistic. I mean, at least that's obviously it's real. We're a reality TV show, Rosemary.
I know. Well, this is a reality TV show. We're trying to push this. I should vote within the audience, but like I've been seriously reconsidering renaming this stream or this session on Fridays to Don't Push on Fridays. because I feel like it just constantly, this is just the theme, that none of us really correctly configure anything on a Friday. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, I used to have a rule back like years ago, like never deploy anything on Monday or Friday. But that was mainly because I didn't want to be stuck in the office, right, those days.
Yeah. All right,
or
go
on the
for
weekend.
it. Let's rerun this and see what happens.
All right.
Actually, I'm already
We just
in
need
here.
to rerun, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just rerun.
Yeah. Ah. Oh, I got to go out. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Let's go out. Oh, wait. Okay. Cool. So, yeah, let's jump in. I need to get the API going to do these things for demos.
I know.
Like
Yeah.
run the script to do this. All right. Cool. So we're
That's why
almost
everything now, by the way, you'll notice everything that I've done is in Terraform because I got tired of repeating and keep reaccessing and keep doing this. I should have just set this up.
Somebody said, just crash everything on Friday and go home. Oh,
Oh gosh. Yeah, that has crossed my mind. I'm done. Yeah, I know. Right? You'd think, but something just keeps stopping it from happening.
yeah.
Is
Well,
it
like
still?
you need money. You need a job.
Yeah.
This is doing it. Looks good.
All right. Well, it looks like next time I'm just not going to bother with the secret ID to set to time to live. It's clear. It's clear that I should
Yeah.
just set it to a really, really arbitrary, long, infinite setting so that it doesn't time out and revoke it. But that's proof that it is working, that it is
Yeah,
ephemeral.
for sure.
So,
Well, yeah, no, that's the point, right? Like, and of course, we already kind of caveated it with like you need to figure out what how you're going to operate and then go from there. Like I said earlier in the previous session that we did, security is not easy. This is super complex. I mean, and it's pretty cool. I actually did a talk at the. Did you give a talk at the all the talks from Sneak?
no, I didn't.
So I was sitting on a panel. They asked me to sit on a security panel, and yeah, we were talking about. So they were asking questions about security, and how it swung left recently, and kind of they were asking questions about all the stages between developer through operations, and then maybe security. And yeah, I was talking about like, look, when I was developing code, we didn't even give a shit about security. To be fair, like it was not even something I thought about. But it's changed so much now because there's more tools available, right? There's a lot of more automation, and it's understandable. Before you would like literally sit and look at just like a spreadsheet and manually test things. So yeah, it's advanced so much, and this is not easy. As a matter of fact, we got a failure here. Authenticate.
Oh, Kubernetes service. It's Kubernetes email. Kubernetes email.
What?
That explains the problem. Yeah, I did the cat Kubernetes service instead of cat Kubernetes email. Yeah. Sorry, Friday brain today. Really Friday brain today.
So you have the wrong email. Do you need to jump anywhere?
Yeah, go back to the VS Code.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I accidentally clicked.
You can drive. You got it.
Click. Ugh. It won't click. Cat Kubernetes email. There we are.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I've named it not correctly.
It's all good.
Update to use Kubernetes.
So you're a way better typist than I am. I would have been fumbling through that.
Oh. No, I'm just like used to this at this point, right? But also I have the, for better or for worse, I had the teacher who sat there and we had like these paper keyboards.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Like even though we didn't necessarily have the computer, we had the paper keyboard. And so we would have to practice on this paper keyboard.
Man, that's like child abuse, isn't it?
No, it was fine. It was just like, it was supposed to get you in the thought process for like typing. I don't know why. I was like, I At that time, I didn't really care. But
yeah, I feel you on that. But I actually, when I was younger, I was in high school, you know, and by the way, I was typing on typewriters, and yeah, it was, I didn't join typing to be learn how to type. Put it that way. In high school in the 90s, early 90s. So. Different whole, you know, I mean, there was really no computers in my high school.
Yeah.
I don't think really high schools, at least the school I went to, didn't have them. So
yeah. And it's not, even today, it's not common to find, you know, a full-fledged computer lab in every high school or every school either, right? So I mean, it is part of this, I think, was like, it was the coming of like an age where I guess the school district thought that there was a reason for kids to learn it. And they didn't have the computers, but they decided we're going to print out paper keyboards and have them pretend to type on the paper keyboards. So,
yeah, but look, you're skilled. I mean,
yeah, you know, again, a lot of practice.
Yeah. I remember, like I used to work in a shop, and developers were like, I could type. Like there was this. Oh, here we go again.
Okay, so
Wait. Ooh.
What just happened? Okay.
Let's see. Let's pop this out real quick and see.
What happens when it like does this like obscure?
There you go.
Oh. Okay, that's fine. Warning error. PyOpenSSL not available.
Do you have Python installed? Oh, you.
No, but this is the G Cloud. This is G Cloud's internal. This is their image. So.
Got you. Yeah. So.
Fascinating.
Have you seen this before?
No. But I feel like we have a JSON private key. That's what I don't understand. We definitely have a JSON private key.
Oh, we could do this. Here.
Oh, we're going to do the dangerous thing?
Oh, I won't show anything, but just...
We're going to go.
Are you worried about me?
No, it's fine. It's fine. Why not?
I won't do that.
No, you can go ahead. Go SSH into it.
Yeah. And then we can, you know...
debug, yeah.
Yeah. Somebody asked, how old are you guys?
Oh, we're going to defer that answer.
I'll give you a clue. I'm definitely in my 40s. I don't mind sharing that. All right, is this thing like, come on. Oh, right, it's going to do all that good stuff. Download that beefy image you got.
I know. You know.
All right, here we go. Let me put this in. You want to use the terminal, or you want to use? Well, we'll give you a terminal.
Yeah, we'll use the terminal.
Yeah. All right. Here you go. Gives you some access. There you go. Whoa, that's not what I wanted. Are we? No, sorry. What did I? Whoa. Okay. Let's try this again. And there you go. It's all yours.
Yay. All right. So
what I just did was in CircleCI, if you have a problem with a specific part of a build, you can SSH in as a developer, right, to the resource where it failed, in the environment it failed. So you can debug live without having to bother anybody. So it's kind of like self-serve. So yeah, I used to use Jenkins and couldn't do this. And
why does it say G-Cloud does not exist?
Try to do local. Yeah. Let me jump on.
Go for it.
Quick, so we can do it in LSA. Yeah, it doesn't.
It's so weird.
So we can do which, just in case. No. So I don't think it's there.
I see.
That's probably why, or at least it's not finding it. So
That's so
Let's
weird.
do a quick find. What is it? And then I do. And what's the name of it? Gcloud? Right?
Yeah, Gcloud.
There you go.
Okay, so it's in
So
there.
it is there. Maybe it's not. That's what. Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh.
Service activate service account. Sorry for those who are wondering why I'm peering around. It is because my mic is in the way. I just need to move this mic somehow.
You don't have one of those fancy arms like me?
I do have the fancy arm, but the fancy arm is like in the way, which doesn't help
I know.
anything. I'm like, why are you like this, fancy arm?
Yeah.
Maybe this is not right. Can't open Kubernetes. Oh, temp. Hold on. Let's see. So apparently this was the problem, but we are not using a P12 key. I believe it is a JSON.
Yeah, there you go.
Where's the
Can you do a pip install of that pi, whatever the hell it means?
But that's the thing. It should be a JSON private key. Hold on.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
To temp service account.json, because it is a private key. Cannot read a JSON file. So apparently something is a little funky.
Hey, can you do the Gcloud component? Maybe it didn't install something, you know?
Well, you know what? We're gonna just dump. We're gonna dump out the contents of the file.
All right.
Because, like I said, we're reissuing it anyway all the time.
Yeah.
All right, so let's
It's
see
there.
what's in this. Oh, it's base 64 decoded. That's why.
Is that something we did?
No, I think Vault. That must be part of the secrets engine.
So you have to decode it.
Yeah. So let's go back to VS Code.
Okay. We're gonna get this. I know it. Oh, so it does the same thing we do.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yep. All right. So let's just base 64 decode it. Finally, yeah, we raged. We gave up. We'll just do this. You know, there's a bit. You know what I did? I missed a crucial step
Uh-oh.
in the HCL.
And by the way, everyone, this repo and this branch will be available. So like, we'll figure a way to. I'll keep this up. I won't bother like updating this. So folks
I
can.
think it's this thing. This thing. Okay.
Ah.
So Vault Agent uses
Yes.
this thing called console template under the hood. So if you want, there's like a set of functions that come out of it that are actually kind of neat. So one of the built-in functions is actually decode. You can just say, let me just base 64 decode.
Nice.
So yeah, that way you don't have to actually, sit there and.
Is that like a component built into Terraform?
It is
Vault?
Yeah. So what's interesting is that its Vault agent is now built into Vault, or kind of like the code itself is now bundled as part of Vault.
Right.
But the decode these functional commands, all of this kind of is based on a tool called console template, which is not baked into. Parts of the code is basically baked into the Vault agent.
Right. Well, the reason why I ask is because the different operating systems have different encoding, right? Like capabilities, or at least the tools.
Yeah.
They're a little bit different. Then sometimes you get into these weird. But if I would assume they would inject or at least compose it and
So
include.
Should we shut down the SSH? Otherwise,
Yeah, could do that. I can just stop it. Yeah. So by the way, if you want to, ever need to use SSH, it will time out after like 2 hours once you're in it, or you could just cancel the job. Yeah. And if you don't use it, it will stay up for 10 minutes, I believe. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah,
Nice.
you have about a 2 hour window to play, and then a 10-minute window.
Nice.
if it's not active. Yeah, we don't want to leave people's
people SSHing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
well, while that's running, what I can show.
Yeah.
I can actually show the. How do I stop remote control? Oh, there we go. What I can show is I can show GCP, so what it actually looks like. So let me stop remote control, which will let me share my screen, which will stop sharing your screen for a second.
Yeah, no worries.
And then which one is it? I think it's this one. Share. Okay. So what you'll see, sorry everybody on Twitch, but what you'll see actually is I am here. If I actually refresh this, it'll show everything. But in my project, what you'll actually see is that Vault, every time you read from Vault, it will actually reissue a new key. So as you can see here, this is actually the service account. So if I go to the service account, right, you'll notice here the Node.js service account here, they have this key that has been reissued. So this is since the last time we've run it. But
okay.
As it continues to reissue, you'll see a new one come in. But this is an old one, so you'll see that that was previous. So I'm going to stop share for a second, and Angel, you can share again.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
It looks. Let me grab where Zoom. I don't know where Zoom is. Here we go. Okay. Zoom. Share my screen. Desktop 1. How's that? Everybody see that?
Yep.
Nice.
They can see it.
And it passed, or at least it
says it authenticated. So if you drop down the authenticate to GCP, you'll see that now there's a Kubernetes version, and the server version is now pointing to a GKE cluster.
Nice. It didn't deploy anything though, right?
No, it didn't deploy anything. So now what you can do is a kubectl apply if you've got a Kubernetes manifest or something. There's that.
Yeah. I don't.
Yes. There is some Terraform Kubernetes, but it does require some state, and I don't know where we're going to put said state, at least not that easily.
This is actually cool. I think, maybe we do a part 3 at some point. Right?
Part 3.
And deploy to Kubernetes. I think that was our 3 things: was Docker Hub, GCP credentials, and then maybe some Kubernetes action.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you had a database that you could connect your application to, we can also do Kubernetes, Vault, secrets injection as well. So we can continue to get fancier. So all of this pipeline stuff that we talked about, you want your pipeline secrets away from the secrets that your application is really using, right? So,
for sure.
This is a good way to kind of separate the responsibility a bit.
So let's ask our folks in the Twitch. Are you interested in a part 3 doing some Kubernetes database fun stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you are, message on Twitch. Let us know. Message, through Twitter, etc. So we've got some people who are interested. So let's actually do that. I think this is a pretty good stopping point. Basically, we got the authentication rotated. We were able to authenticate to Kubernetes. There are other ways you can authenticate to Google and access the Kubernetes cluster. But this was just a good way to demonstrate the GCP secrets engine in Vault. And we had some interesting pitfalls along the way. Yes, finally, we figured out it was base 64 encoded. It had to be decoded.
Well, but I didn't even know that was an issue with that. So I would have been racking my brain. Yeah. So thanks for I really enjoyed just this stuff crashing on us and because I believe the system really well and the pitfalls, but until you encounter them, right, sometimes it's and it's good.
I can ask, I ask about CircleCI stuff, what makes sense to use, what doesn't make sense in the CircleCI flow, and it's kind of cool because it's how much can we not give access to people? And they can, you can still work on the system, still deploy, still be changing code. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess it's time
Yeah.
for beer o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Like at least on my time on the East
Yeah,
Coast
and for
here.
some who are waking up, thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying on for so long, and hopefully we'll get part 3 up. Keep an eye out for a recording of this if you want to play back certain sections for reference. And we'll see you
Yeah,
next time.
and I appreciate everybody showing up. I mean, this is cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we should do a part 3. I mean, if you want, yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it.
we'll do a part 3.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. See
Thanks,
ya. Have a good
everyone.
weekend.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
Bye bye.